Alright, I got the service request.
All right. All right, here we go. Let's turn this down. Okay. All right, welcome aboard. It's San Francisco to Reno today. We're doing Professional Pilot Series, episode number 1. There's our clearance. We're going San Francisco to Reno. It's Airbus A321 Neo from Toliss. Awesome new setup that they came out for this plane. The LEAP engines. Beautiful sound package. Here we have the American A321 livery, and should be a fun flight. About 40 minutes. We're gonna place a little bit of focus on RNP approaches. We'll talk a little bit about them in flight. Should be fun. San Francisco. So we're on the VATSIM network today. You can see the little Air France 777 taxiing in the back. Let's see. We are fully staffed, so it looks like Oakland Center, San Francisco ground, San Francisco tower, Reno ground, Reno approach, Reno tower, everything is online. So we should have full coverage for this flight in terms of ATC, which is awesome. We've done our dispatch, so we'll use that to help us get set up in the plane. The plane's pretty much cold and dark, so let's go inside. And let's turn off this music first. Alright, here we go. So let's go inside. We'll turn on our batteries, 28 volts. That's good. And plane comes alive. We do have external power variable. We'll go ahead and turn that on. And she comes into life. We'll turn the brightness up here. And we'll turn on this guy. I've been getting in the habit of, I've been forgetting about these guys over here. Never use them, but might as well. Looks sloppy when half of your screens are dimmed out. Alright, beautiful. We'll wait for that to come up. And let's just run through an overhead flow. We'll start here. Crew supply is on. Ground control is on. Move up and align our ADRS. So we'll go nav. I want to see the battery light come on and then extinguish. I'll just do it for one of the three. IR2 coming on, IR3 coming on. Go into the align. We'll test the fire extinguisher. Engine 1, the APU. We have the engine 2. All that's good. We'll keep the fuel pumps off. The external power is on. We'll go to econ flow. We'll keep the temperature right in the middle for the cockpit, forward cabin, and the aft cabin. APU bleeds off. Everything's off here. Turn off our nav lights, seat belts, no smoking, and emergency exit lights on. You want to test this as well. Everything is good here. Turn that on. And our maintenance panel should be closed. Oh, it's closed. Beautiful. Alright, everything's opened up here. I think they're just finishing up putting in some baggage in there. So we'll start with the McDo. An Airbus pilot taught me this. It's kind of a way to organize it. So DIFSRIP. So diff strip. So that's kind of how you want to get started. D is data. So we start off in the data page here. And item number 1 is just verifying that your database is current. So we are using the 2014 database, which is good. I will go to init and we'll start loading up our flight plan. We are, let's see, how could I do this? Last time I tried it, but it didn't really work out. So let's just leave that there. So we're doing San Francisco to Reno today. Flight number, we're American Airlines 335. We'll line the IRS. Cost index is 30 today. Cruise altitude is, well, they just give us our clearance, so let's look at that. Pre-departure clearance, American San Francisco at 0138 Zulu, level 310. So 31,000 feet. Looks like they're starting to close the doors. They're getting ready to go. San Francisco, Trunking to Orca, Hobo, Wallard, pretty much So pretty much as we filed. Climb view, let's expect level 31010 minutes after departure. Departure 2525. Plane for runway 1 right. ATC may change at any time. Contact 121.8 for revision. Beautiful. So 310, that works. We were doing diff SRIP, so we were here on init, so we'll go to flight plan. So San Francisco, runway 1 right for departure. 1 right for departure. The SID is a trunk and 2. We'll talk about that in a second. We're doing a trunk and 2 departure. Orca transition. So let's find Orca. There she is. Insert that. After Orca, we're going to Hoboa. And then after Hoboa, we're going to Whalar. And then to Reno. I'm not going to put the approach into Reno yet, but we can plan to do... we're going to do the RNP approaches. So all those are... We'll talk about which one we'll do once we're airborne, once we have a better idea of what to do. Okay, so that's our F flight plan. S is a secondary flight plan, so we pretty much just want to put our departure airport, San Francisco, to San Francisco. The only reason we're doing this is just in case we have an emergency or something like that on departure and we have to come back. We want to have the flight plan pretty much already loaded in there, including the approach. So, secondary flight plan, San Francisco. We'll only put the arrival. We're departing 1 right. So, is there an ILS for 1 right? I don't think so. Yeah, there's nothing for 1 right. So, we'll do the, let's see, ILS 28, I guess. ILS 28 left. We'll insert that. So that's our secondary flight plan. That's all we need in there. We'll go to the RadNav. So let's talk about the SID, and this will kind of organize us here. So we're doing the trunk and 2 departure, which is an RNAV departure. So usually you might have, like, let's find one. Let's open up the SIDs here. Yeah, here we go, like the... The gap 7 departure. So this would be a departure where you have to intercept some sort of VOR navigation, so here you would intercept just basic the San Francisco 350 radial northbound and then do something else. So you would put that here on your RadNav page. Now we're not going to do that. It's all an RNAV departure for the one that we're doing. That's all GPS pretty much, so we don't have to worry about the RadNav page. So let's talk about that. Yeah, pretty much that's it. We're taking 1 right, so if we read it, runway 1 right, it's a climb heading 014 to 520, then a right turn to Tahiti, cross Tahiti at or above 3,000, then on track to 043 to Trunken. So pretty straightforward. It's nothing crazy. You just got to be above 3,000 here. If you're given a climb via the SID, that means you have to comply with all the altitude restrictions, and your final altitude is here. Your top altitude of flight level 190, 19,000 feet. So pretty unrestricted climb compared to some that you see in the northeast. All right, so we got that all set. I think our passengers are ready to go, so I'll just try to finish here. Diff SRIP. I is the init page B, so we'll go to page B. We got to calculate all our weights. So go to Toliss, and let's see what our sim brief has here for us. 206 passengers, so a almost full flight. Zero fuel weight of 154.7, 154.7. And how much fuel do they want us to have? 11.1 for fuel. Go 11.2. We'll apply that. We'll plug that in here. 154.7 with a zero fuel weight CG of 28.6. 28.6. God, I forgot to clear. One. 4.7, 28.6, and the block fuel of 11.2. All right, awesome. Takeoff weight 165.5. We'll have an hour and 14 minutes of extra time, so should be good going into our destination. Last P is the perf, so we're already here, so we'll go flaps 1. We're not going to do a toga takeoff just because we're pretty light. We'll want to take care of those beautiful engines. So 146 is our V1, 146 is our VR, 150 is our V2 with a flex takeoff temperature of 59. Flex takeoff 59, flaps set to 1. And that's it. So we got 1 minute until the IRS is done aligning. We'll just step through the flight plan real quick. TIE, Trunken, Hype, Orca, Whalar, and then we can probably expect the approach. Awesome, pretty easy. We'll turn on the constraints. Let's go ahead and turn on the APU. We'll listen to it. Sorry, we gotta turn on the pumps. What are we doing? Pumps on. Here we go. Pumps are on. Starting up. Let's listen in. Beautiful. It's a good engine. Good APU start. %, so it should be available, and it is. So we'll turn off the external power. Turn on our APU bleed. Let's finish off here. Transponder 4513. 4513 on alt. And let's go ahead and contact ground. Mr. Brennan. 218. Beautiful. Alright, let's get rid of this page. Goodbye. We'll set up our pushback. So we are going to have to push into the alley. And runway 1 right is going to take us going that way. So we'll push tail north.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Okay. Alright, I think we're ready for push, so let's call our
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
push guy. take out our checklist, but verify we finished everything before we start our push. Alright, so before start, below the line, cockpit prep is completed. Gear pins and covers are removed. Signs are on and auto. The aiders is aligned. Fuel quantity 11.2 on board. We have a takeoff minimum fuel of 10.6. So
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
that's 600 pounds of fuel to burn for this taxi, so hopefully we don't have to wait for too long. The fuel quantity is good, so the takeoff data is all set, and the bearer ref, we haven't even gotten the ATIS.
San Francisco ground, good evening. November 84 Zulu India to Vancouver, hoping for one right departure. Ready for push and stop.
So let's do
Number
San
4,
Francisco
question
ATIS.
847 India Zulu. Or Zulu India, San Francisco ground, push and start approved, call for taxi.
It is Zulu 0056.
Affirmative, November 84 Zulu India. San Francisco
So
ground,
connected and bike craft in service. Release parking brake.
Air France 083 Heavy, San Francisco ground, 5x5.
2995.
Air France 083 Heavy, good afternoon, sir. We're at the international terminal. I'd like you clearance to by Charles de Gaulle in Antarctica Golf with the information is always forward.
Yeah, we got Zulu.
Air France 083 Heavy, PDC on the way. Roger, thank you.
Let's see what gate we're on. Man, this took a little bit longer than what I wanted. So let's just do this. Gate 48. Push on to, what is this, Alpha? San Francisco ground, good evening, American 335. Requesting push on to Alpha, please.
American 335 San Francisco ground, push on to Alpha, approved, face south.
I will push on to Alpha, approve, and we'll face south, American 335. Alright, here we go.
Starting pushback. And you may start engines.
Below the line, before start, doors or windows are closed, beacons on, thrust levers
San Francisco ground, Southwest 363, ready for taxi.
Is set to
Southwest 363, runway 1 right, taxi via Alpha Alpha 1.
rig is released.
1 right via Alpha Alpha 1, Southwest 363.
What runway are we doing? 1 right? Okay. Alright, let's go engine 1 start. Start them up. APU bleeds on. Engine number 1 coming out. She goes. We got N2. Fuel flow should come on at 20 N2. There's ignition. 21. There's fuel flow. Let's listen to those engines.
Air France 083 Heavy, may I have runway 01 right for departure? Air France 083 Heavy, expect runway 1 right for departure. 1 right for departure, Air France 083 Heavy, thank you.
Beautiful.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
For taxi,
Parking brake
1
is
right.
coming on.
Disconnecting
November
code.
4
Stand by.
Zulu India, runway 1 right, taxi via Alpha Alpha 1.
APU bleeds coming on.
Alpha Alpha 1, November 84 Zulu India.
We'll turn on our electric pump and we'll put flaps 1. Speed brakes are on. Flaps coming down.
San Francisco Grand American 311 IFR to Portland, we are ready to copy with information echo. American 311, San Francisco ground clear to Portland Airport, truck and 2 departure, grateful transition, direct Machu, Timbers 2 arrival, climb via SID, departure frequency 125.85, squawk 4517.
Let's check our flight controls. Go full right. Control.
American 311, copy, cleared to Portland via truck and 2 departure as filed, 125.85 on the departure 4587
has been removed. Hand signal on the right.
311, it's going to be the truck and 2 departure, grateful transition, direct Machu, Timbers 2 arrival.
Going up to, what did we say, 17,000?
Truck and 2,
19,000.
direct
Here we go.
grateful, direct Machu, Timber 2 arrival. American 311, read back, correct, expect
there he
runway 1
goes.
right. 1 right, American
After
311.
start checklist, NTIC
Southwest 363, can you go ahead and make the right turn there on Hotel, then right turn on Bravo and go down to Alpha?
Trim is
1.
set. Let her trim is set. Alright, let's go ahead and call for
Alright,
taxi.
Southwest 363, go ahead and make the right turn there on Hotel, then a right turn on
Hey,
Bravo.
what's happening there?
Right here on Hotel, and then a right on Bravo 363.
Grand American 335, taxi Zulu.
American 335, runway 1 right, taxi via Alpha Alpha 1.
Alpha Alpha 1 to runway 1 right, American 335. Alright, that's easy peasy, so Alpha Alpha 1 to runway 1 right. Here we go.
San Francisco ground, Southwest 363. Did you say left on Bravo or right on Bravo here?
Southwest 363, right turn there on Bravo and then go straight.
Right on Bravo here, and then go straight, 363.
Ground United 1812, ready for taxi, runway 1 right. United 1812, runway 1 right, taxi via Alpha Alpha 1.
Looks like we're the first ones out of here.
Runway 1 right
There's
via
a
Alpha
lot of
Alpha
people
1,
here.
United 1812.
Got this Southwest character. Got this other Southwest character. Pretty much gonna be number 1, so let's turn this guy off. APU bleeds coming on. Number 2 engine coming up. Got N2 ignition.
San Fran ground, American 838.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, American 838. We're over at
Fuel
parking
flow.
spot Delta 1,
Light
Airbus
off.
321. Looking for the IFR clearance to San Diego.
And we got it.
American 838, expect to PDC.
Standing by PDC, American 838.
Southwest. Continue straight on Bravo. Yeah, 5x5.
Alright, there's a relay. Beautiful. APU bleeds and APUs are coming off. That's set to normal. We'll continue taxiing.
Southwest 363, hold position.
Hold position, Southwest 363.
Southwest 363, good way to the A321, passing in front of you.
Approaching runway 01 left. Entered runway 01 left. 7,900 feet remaining.
What are you talking about?
Say again for Southwest 363.
Give way to the American A321 on, he's on your left, continue taxi.
Roger, yep, visual. Yeah, we'll continue taxi, Southwest 363.
What?
This is Guns, Alaska 2908, Commission Act departure to LX.
Oh shit, is it here? Yep. We'll just take it from here. What the hell?
Along to 2908 San Francisco ground, expected PDC. Resident. American 335, counting tower 120.5.
Tower 20.5, American 335. Alright, I think we're ready. Before takeoff, flight controls are checked, flight instruments are checked, the briefing is completed, flap setting confirmed, set to 1. V1, VRVT flex temp is set, ATC is set to TARA, ECAM memo, takeoff. Takeoff, no blue cabin is ready for departure. I think we're ready to go. Tower, hello, American 335, short of 1 right.
American 335, San Francisco Tower, hello, runway 1 right, clear for takeoff with 28014. Correction, RNF tie-dye, 1 right, clear for takeoff.
Alright, American 335 is clear for takeoff, RNAV to tie-dye. Alright, brakes are coming off. Go, lights.
San Francisco, Toliss up with 363, up to 1.
Alright,
Approaching runway 01 right.
below the line, takeoff runway 1 right,
Runway
confirm.
01 right. 8,800
C1 right.
feet.
Cabin crew's advised TCAS is set to TARA. Engine mode selected is normal and packs are set. We'll go ahead and turn our predictive. No, where'd she go? Fuck. Stop here for a sec.
363, runway 1 right,
Predicted wind shear
American
is.
Airbus.
Here we go.
Wait behind the Bobby traffic, up with 363.
Spool them up.
San Francisco Tower, November 84, Zulu India, hoping for 8 right.
Manoflex 59, SRS.
Number 84, Zulu India, San Francisco Tower, hello,
Northwest
hold
blue.
short, runway 1 right. 1 right, November 84, Zulu India.
Why am I not seeing the runway heading? Great. V1, rotate. Positive right here. There's the nav. 400.
American 335, connect Norca departure 120.9.
120.9, American 335, so 20.9, autopilot on, why not? Got a lot of work to do. 120.9 on departure. Alright.
Sorry, 89 Alpha.
We got positive rate of climb, positive airspeed. We'll bring the throttles down.
Yes, right, crosswind departure.
First
If it
one.
helps at all, my departure heading with my flight plan is showing 017.
No, like this, you're sick Carlos Space, are you familiar with the local procedure?
Yes and no. I know a bit, but I wouldn't say I'm very thorough with it all.
89 Alpha, if you're familiar, fly the orbital departure, it's a right cross the departure, runway 30, clear for takeoff.
Fly orbital departure, runway 30,
Flaps 20.
clear for takeoff.
NorCal departure, hello, American 335, 3.8, climbing via the trunk and tube.
American 335, NorCal departure, radar contact.
Alright, after takeoff, landing gear is up, flaps are retracted, the packs are on, and after takeoff checklist is complete, speeding up to 250 knots, climbing up to 19,000. Pretty smooth takeoff.
Stretch 55, 37, descend maintain 11,000, and the...
Flyby. Going to Trunken and
Skywar's 55,
now we're going to High Peak and then Orca. Sweet.
1 right, 30, 37, 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 1 right, 30, 37,
NorCal approach, if I remember correctly, for the oral departure out of San Carlos, I make a right over the diamond-shaped waterway, but could you remind me of the next instructions from there?
November 89 Alpha, you'll make a right cross to departure, clear to class Bravo, and then you'll be doing the, I assume you're requesting the Oakland midfield transition, or are you looking to remain with NorCal?
Honestly, whatever is easiest for you. I'm not very, whatever works.
Alright, passing through 10. Lights off.
Proceed direct to runway 30 numbers at Oakland.
And we're speeding up to 317.
And then I'll hand you over to Oakland Tower for the transition. Maintain VFR at or below 1,400.
Fly runway 30 for Oakland, along the San Mateo Bridge, and then...
Alright, the Reno...
Yeah, November 8289 Alpha.
Okay, the Reno 8S. Kilo. It's calm. ILS, we're 16 right east. We're 16 right. Okay. So looks like 16 right is our runway of choice. Now, given the fact that we want to do some RNP procedures today, we are going to look into doing something else. So let's open up the approaches for Reno and let's see which RNP approach would work best for us. So here's the approach. So we said 16 right. So we have 3 ILSs, 1 localizer, and then we have 2 RMPs, the Yankee and the Zulu. Now we are gonna hit Haboa.
5343 Alpha. After I fix my squawk, could I request a leave from the cockpit really quick?
Haboa and Whaler.
Right now, or are you pushing out from unit 52 minutes to maintain VFR below 1,400 as you were instructed?
So yeah, the Yankee wouldn't work because the Yankee
yeah,
seems to be coming from the east.
Perfect.
Let's turn this guy down actually. Let's turn this ATC down a little bit and let's turn down these engines. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do the RNP Zulu. Now 2585 American 335 good day. 2585 for the center.
Oakland Center, good evening, Starfleet 1, 17,000, climb 290.
Starfleet 1, Oakland Center, climb maintain flight level 320.
320, Starfleet 1.
Oakland Center, good evening, American 335, 16.7, climb via the trucking tube.
American 335, Oakland Center, low climb and maintain flight level 310.
Climb maintain flight level 310, American 335. Okay, we're coming up to 18,000, so let's do standard, standard, and standard 3 times. Alright, so Haboa, let's put that in there. So let's put the...
Climbing through transition altitude.
So we want to do the RNAV Zulu, runway 16 right. So RNAV Zulu, runway 16 right. We are not doing a star. Our approach transition is going to be from Haboa like we talked. And no sit, so no start transition. And that's in the box. Bam, let's take a look at that. There's the approach. Okay. Now,
Scooter 92, descend and maintain flight level 310.
Descend and maintain for level 310, Spinner 92.
Scooter 1906, contact NorCal approach 1, this 33.95.
Oakland Center, top of the unit, Alaska 744, flight level 330.
Alaska 744, center, roger. Long tail 7, contact Oakland Center 127.905.
2795, long tail 7.
American 335, clear direct to Boa.
Alright, direct to Haboa, American 335.
Oakland Center, Southwest 363.
Southwest 363, Oakland Center, climb and maintain flight level 230.
230 to Southwest 363.
Delta 2, clear direct to Sango, direct to Fresno, Sierra Alpha, November, Golf Oscar.
Okay, direct Sango, direct Fresno, Delta 2. Just to verify, Sierra Alpha, November, Golf Oscar for Delta 2.
Delta 2, affirmative.
Okay, let's talk about RNP approaches quickly, but you know, thoroughly enough
Delta 2, descend a pilot's
for you
discretion,
guys to have a
maintain
basic
flight level
understanding of it. So, generally, I would say there's two types of approaches. Approaches that use ground-based navigation. So, ground-based navigation is a VOR, for example, a localizer antenna, and a glide slope antenna, which makes an ILS approach. You have very old school, but NDB approaches would be a type of ground-based navigation. So those are the big ones. Those are the big ones. I think the ones that you see most today is an ILS approach. The ILS with the glide slope and the localizer as a ground-based navigation. Now, over the years, the RNAV approaches have become more of a thing. That's all satellite navigation. So that's not ground-based, it's all satellite, all GPS approaches. So RNAV approaches, I mean, we used RNAV, for example, for this SID. All these fixes are imaginary points in space. Geez, I can't keep track of both the radio on this, but I'll keep trying. All these fixes are imaginary fixes in space. So the same happens on an approach. So if we pull up Reno, if we're just looking at a normal RNAV approach, same thing. There's an RNAV approach. You know, imaginary fixes in space that take you pretty much straight to your runway, which is incredibly convenient. Now, all of these approaches, all these minimums here, we have LNAV minimums, which just stands for lateral navigation, and LPV, which stands for localizer performance with vertical guidance. So the level of accuracy here, you can see one takes you to a decision altitude, so it has vertical guidance, so it has, you know, guidance that tells you whether you're high or low, which takes you about 200 feet lower than an LNAV does, which is only a... Alright, pilot's discretion down at level 240, American 335. Alright, we'll hold off on the descent here for a moment. We just got the cruise altitude. Now, now what else? Okay, so LPV is pretty much what you see in most general aviation, or most newer general aviation airplanes, like the Cessna 172. That's only as long as the airplane is equipped with WAAS, and also the approach. So WAAS stands for Wide Area Augmentation System. It's a type of RNP. So RNP just is a basic term for required navigational performance, and there's multiple types of RNP. So the reason why this is so much more accurate is because the GPS is able to correct the point where you are in space and give you an incredibly accurate location. So the better your GPS is, the... Was you talking to me? No. The more accurate your GPS is, the lower your minimums will be. So now, talking about an RNP approach, required navigation performance, and let's talk about the one we're going to do today. Now, if you look at here, we have a DA. So we have a decision altitude, and we have RNP 0.3, RNP 0.17. So this means 0.17 miles that the airplane is able to maintain an accuracy within 0.17 miles of this line left and right. So, I mean, most GA WASC grid planes have a 0.30 RNP. Now for RNP approaches, I hate how they use the name twice, but for RNP approaches, all of these are authorization required. So you won't be able to fly that's in your typical 172. You'll only be able to fly them in planes like these. So the airliners are pretty much the only ones that are doing them at the moment. I'm sure that's going to change. So for this approach, if you look at the difference between a basic RNAV, it's just a straight line. Straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. An RNP allows you to do these RF lines. I don't know what they stand for. Radial fix. Yeah, RF required. So it allows you to fly this line that's actually curved to another fix and maintain that 0.12 RMP. So that 0.12 sensitivity left and right. Now, the last RNAV, basic RNAV that we saw, takes us only down to 734 feet AGL. The one we're doing today takes us all the way down to 381, so almost 400 feet lower than the other one. So incredibly accurate. You don't have to fly a straight line. It allows you to turn, and it gives you that vertical guidance. So that's the beauty of RNP approaches. Main thing is that, as it stands, only airliners can fly them, and you need WAS. You need WAS. You need a 0.30 or less RNP WAS to be able to do it. Now, I don't know. Maybe less than 5 years, you're going to see that in general aviation airplanes. So you'll be able to see on this approach kind of what it looks like, kind of how the turn looks like, and all that stuff. So, all right, so let's get to work. Notification panel. Or McDo is asking us to put all our destination data. So the QNH is 29091. Coming up to our top of descent. Our decision altitude is 381 feet. And that's about it. He gave me 240. We're going to start our open descent down to level 240. And Center American 335. Can we put in our approach request with you, or should we wait with the approach controller?
American 335, make a request with NorCal.
335 will go, thanks. Alright, that's what I figured. So we're still pretty far out from Hoboa. So I think after Hoboa we had another fix. So I want to make sure that we don't go to the approach and then they expect us to go to the other fix. So we'll make that approach with them. And Center American 335 is vacating for level 310. Okay, so that's our
335, roger, contact open center 127.905.
2795 American 335.
Compass 6021, descend and maintain flight level 240. flight level 240, compass 62.
Center American 335, 28.6, descend flight level 240.
American 335, Oakland Center, descend and maintain 16,000, read altimeter 2991.
16,000, 2991, American 335.
Oakland, good evening, TBM 375, Papa Tango, 13,000, climbing 56.
Alright, let's do a briefing real
Papa
quick.
Tango, Oakland Center, Roger. Remember 333, Foxtrot Tango, safe flight level.
So RNP Zulu runway 16, right?
We're having a hard time keeping it level at 19. For 3 Foxtrot Tango, descend and maintain flight level 190. Correct.
Haboa after Haboa will go down at or above 10.5, 10,500 to cross Jutpu at or above 9,000. We'll stay at 10.5 to go to
Compass 60,
Okiko.
21 descent.
Okiko max speed is 180 knots and it has us here at 207. So we gotta fix that. Max 180 and then down to 780 to Yeetud. Oh, okay, so that's not there.
Southwest 889, descend and maintain flight level 200.
Is Lusic there? Am I missing it? That's not right. Are we doing Zulu?
JetBlue 943, contact NorCal approach.
Oh, this is 16 left. Stupid, wrong plate. Here we go. Same thing. Okay, Okiko, max 180, so we do have to fix that. We need to fix that to Lusic. Lusic, there it is, at or above 78. Beautiful. Batia, 69.
Number 36, Pop Oakland
And
Center,
then that's our final approach fix. Go down to minimums of 558, so I gotta fix that. So 558, and then rest approach is to Zach B using Yaru.
Over to Los Angeles,
Zach B using Yaru. So let's change
UPS 765, contact Salt Lake Center 120.27.
558, 558, and we said 180 knots at Okiko. So there it is, 180. I don't know why it doesn't show. Yeah. Not sure. Okay, that's the briefing. Pretty standard, no questions. Should be pretty cool. We'll pretty much have the plane on autopilot the whole time, just so you can see how the plane flies it. I didn't really look
Delta 683, level 300. Delta 683,
at the actual
via the
ceiling
MyBad
conditions.
2
So
Rebel,
if you clouds at 3,500, broken at 5,000.
Via the MyBad,
Get some ice and going down. We'll keep an eye on that. Wind's calm. So.
November 5 Golf Victor, contact NorCal approach 119.2. 119.2, bye.
Bye. Oops. Okay,
Compass
Zulu.
6021, increase your rate of descent.
RNF Zulu runway 16.
Increase rate of descent to Compass 6021. Wattis 36 Papa, descend and maintain 14,000. Maintain 14,000, remember 36 Papa.
Transition altitude. Nearest altimeter, 2990.
Oakland Center, United 1812 is climbing 11 for 19.
I'm sorry, checking on SIGIN.
Yeah, 1812 radio.
United 1812, stay position.
We just departed SFO for now 12,000.
Okay, you're on the wrong frequency. Contact Oakland Center 125.85.
2585, United 1812.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. That's my bad.
Oakland Center, spinner 92.
11 Alpha 16,000.
280240. Spinner 92, Oakland Center, descend and maintain 16,000, Reno altimeter 29991. 16,000, spinner 92.
Here we go, that's better.
Compass 6021, turn left heading 330, vector for traffic. Left turn 330, compass.
Oh, that's cool. Alright, sweet. Oops. Oh, okay, so I can't minimize it. So that's the
November
step.
7th, Sierra Alpha, contact Oakland Center,
Just playing around with
133.7, November 7th,
with
Sierra Alpha.
OBS here. Okay. Alright, I like how that looks.
Delta 683, contact NorCal approach 126.3. 1263, 683.
So we're looking at true temperature of 2 degrees, so I'm happy with that. Probably not going to need NTS for the descent.
Compass 6021, clear direct Mustang. Direct Mustang, Compass 6021.
Approach American 335 request.
American 335, contact NorCal approach 126.3, make a approach request with them.
26.8 American 335.
American 335, frequency is 126.3, 26.3.
26.3, sorry about that, American 335. Have a go.
Yep.
Approach, good evening, American 335, 16,000 with Zulu requesting the RNP Zulu runway 16 right, please.
American 335, NorCal approach, low, unable to expect ILS, Zulu, runway 16 right approach, turn left heading 020, vector to final.
And we're just going to disconnect American 335, thanks. We're just joining to the RNP for this one.
American 335, ready.
Bye! Alright. Goodbye. So we'll just do it on our own. JIDPU 10.5. So let's go down. Let's assume we were cleared. And we'll just bring it down to our final, which is going to be Batia at 69. So we'll just put 69. And the FMS should pretty much manage that descent the whole way. There's our lateral navigation, vertical navigation. We're obviously super high, and we're supposed to be coming up to 180 knots on the next one. So we're gonna dump the buckets, and we're gonna start slowing it down. ILS would have been fun and all, but we're trying to get some approaches in, so not very helpful on their part. Yeah, up there. That's better. Alright, line of lights are coming on. We're an IMC, so we'll just follow our instruments. Alright, we need to be at 180, so coming up to our speed. We're almost at the point where we can put the flaps down. Should help us out. We might be a little bit fast, and this should come pretty fast. So approach checklist briefing is complete. ECAM status is checked. Seat belts are on. Power off is set. The minimums are set. The engine modes are selected. Water brake set to low. We're below 240. Flaps set to 1. That should help us slow it down. Oh boy. So here's that RF leg that I was talking about. So if we zoom in here, that's that turn that we're doing, even though we're incredibly high. Probably not gonna make that. Let's go gear down. Should help us slow down a little bit more. Activate our approach. So it's already activated. Are we ready for the next set of flaps? Nope. So yeah, super high. You can see that vertical guidance here. That really screwed us up. Kind of them not giving us the descent a little earlier, or just pretty much not giving us the approach altogether. Do you see the runway in sight? In this case, you would have gone missed. I mean, you can't start an approach full scale deflection before. Whatever, we'll just go above the speed here. All right.
2,000.
Terrain. Pull up.
What are you talking about? All right. Approach mode is armed. We got the glide slope finally. And the plane's going to follow that all the way down. Beautiful. There's the final approach fix. Slowing it down to final approach speed. All the lights are on. We'll do cabin check. We'll go flaps 3 and arm the spoilers. And we'll go flaps 4. Man, that happened fast. I mean, I felt like we were here at Taboa like a minute ago. Alright, slowing it down to final approach speed, which is going to be 147. 147 is set in there.
1,000.
3 mile final runway 16.
Do a landing checklist. Cabin crew's advice: auto throttle is set to speed. Auto brake set to low. ECAM memo: landing no blue. Landing no blue. Before takeoff complete. We are approaching our minimums, which are 558. So usually on RNP you can go all the way down to 200. On this one, because of the terrain, it's a little bit higher. I think what they're trying to implement later on is get Cat 2 or Cat 3 type, pretty much auto land approaches using GPS into some airports, and I think they're already starting with that down or up in Newark, which is pretty cool. So, all right, so we'll disconnect here. Autopilot's off. We'll hand fly it in. Try to put it down.
100 above. Minimum.
Go visual here.
500.
Turn off the flight director.
500.
Alright, let's go. Let's go.
$400.
Checked.
$300.
Alright, glide slope showing us. Or sorry, the pappies are showing us a little bit low. All like this, looking good.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Alright. We're down. Decel to reverse. Yeah, we're down. 100 knots. 80 knots. Manual braking. 60 stone. Not bad, 100 something feet per minute. Kind of floated a little bit there, but good landing. Overall, good approach. I'm surprisingly we made it. Kind of sloppy there at the end, pretty rushed, and you know, had to go above PFE to put the flaps down, which I would not advise anybody to do. But it's a simulator. That's the beauty of it. We'll just we'll take Alpha. I'll take the other one actually. APU is gonna come on. These guys up. I don't have an airport diagram. Not yet, at least. There we go. So let's just go to the terminal up there. We'll just take Alpha all the way north, cross that runway, and call it a day. Alright, we did it. So APU will turn that on. And let's run through a quick after landing checklist. Flaps are retracted, spoilers are disarmed, the APU has been started, radar is off, and the predictive wind shear system is off. Here. I love listening to the APU. Alright, we'll go engine number 2.
Approaching runway 07.
Thank you. Clear right, clear left, clear across.
Entered
Lights on.
runway 07. 25.
We'll go electric pump on. Oh, nice. Air National Guard. Reno's what, Nevada? I wonder what they fly. Let's see. Reno Air National Guard. 152nd Airlift Wing Force. C-130s? Yep. That's cool. C-130s, beautiful. Good for those guys. And I gotta get back on satellite. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a pretty complex topic, RNP approaches and all of that in general. It's really interesting the way the aviation industry is moving forward with GPS navigation. A little bit of a concerning topic given the fact that low Earth orbit is so congested with satellites and space debris is such a big issue. Planes are so reliant on GPS to do these kind of things that we did today. So I wonder what will happen in the future. That I am looking forward to see. But as of right now, it works great. I mean, I think that's given airlines and 135 operators and general aviation pilots access to places that you wouldn't be able to get into on a crappy weather day. So I think Reno is a perfect example of that. So I put a link there on the chat for whoever looks at this video to review and to look at and read up a little bit more about RNP approaches if you want, especially if you're a pilot going for your instrument rating. Definitely a topic you need to know for your check ride and just for instrument flying period. I mean, I would not endorse anybody on a check ride unless they knew a decent amount of knowledge about RNP approaches. So that is it. Coming up to the parking stand here. Turn off this light here. Turn off this electric pump, let the PTU come on for a little bit. And put it down there. Beautiful. Parking brake is coming on. Engine 1's coming off. There's the relay. Beacons off. Seatbelt signs. Parking APU bleed is on. Oops. APU bleed is on. Engines are off. Seatbelts are off. External lights are off. Fuel pumps are off. Let's call for our ground services.
Service on the way.
Parking brake and shocks are as required. And that is it. Thank you guys for tagging along. Hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time.